So I just want to say this was just something I wanted to make. I was just thinking about it and I was like, yeah, I want to talk about this. So I don't think this video is that well made or it's the best video on YouTube, but it was something that I just wanted to talk about because I don't think I see people talk about it, but maybe I'm just not on the sides of the internet that do. So without further ado, let's get on to the video. YouTube originals are pretty cool. Yes, I'm being serious. So, YouTube originals are shutting down, or more accurately scaling back, to allocate investments to growing sections of YouTube, such as YouTube Shorts, which I understand, but it also sucks, because I think most YouTube originals are cool. Even if I don't think they are actually cool. For example, I think Game Lab is kind of cringy. I think most people do. But I still think it's a cool concept. I'm still having Matt back up to make something like that. Just because I find it cringy doesn't mean it's not actually cool. Like, in a way. The Lele Pond show and the Liza Koshy show are things that people make fun of all the time. It's something I've never seen, and probably will never see, but I think it's cool that they got to make something like that nonetheless. Can You Survive the Movies, which from Jake Roper or Vsauce 3, is something that I have seen most of the episodes for, and it's something I find entertaining. I think it's cool, once again. I think it's something that they want to be able to make normally. And my personal favorite being Heist with Markiplier and In Space with Markiplier. Two awesome projects that could not exist without YouTube originals. I think it's important to separate how we feel on certain YouTube original projects and just kind of look at the idea of YouTube originals. Like or dislike most of them, it's a cool thing to be able to make something that you would never be able to normally make. Once again, I'll mention Heist with Markiplier and In Space with Markiplier. Markiplier obviously made a date with Markiplier, which, you know, has the same concept. It's choose your own adventure. But it was obviously not on the scale of a YouTube original production. And it doesn't live up to the scale of a Heist with Markiplier or In Space with Markiplier, because of course it doesn't. But a YouTube original gives it that chance to be something really cool and special and have a budget behind it and blow people away, to do something more than what a normal YouTube video can. But also I think people might criticize YouTube originals just because they can, or because they're cringy, or whatever. But I also think we need to just see there's a lot of cool content on YouTube. People making really interesting stuff. And there's plenty of stuff that is not probably made with, you know, hundreds of hours of work. And it might get more views, and that's just how it is, but also that content exists on YouTube for a reason too. There's people who enjoy that stuff. But I think YouTube originals also got to highlight really cool ideas. Minefield is also another personal favorite of mine by Vsauce, or Michael Stevens. If you know Vsauce, then obviously you most likely know about Minefield, which if you haven't seen Minefield, I recommend it. It's a Vsauce video essentially, but instead of him just talking about the topic, they do a test on it, they do an experiment on it. It's really interesting, as all Vsauce videos are, but they let him take that to the next level. So I think it's important for us to see that in YouTube originals, and it's something we won't see more of besides these last few originals coming out. Before, you know, anything that was made before was decided to scale down. At this moment in time of recording, In Space with Markiplier Part 2 isn't out yet, which I'm excited to see it. And I hope people watch who haven't watched Heist in Space Part 1. I hope they watch it. I hope they enjoy it. There's still stuff I talk about. I've made a friend, we did a watch party of a Heist with Markiplier last night. And I'm gonna actually introduce him to In Space before Part 2 comes out. Because it's stuff that I just find really cool. I think it's worth sharing. And I think most people do, like In Space with Markiplier and A Heist with Markiplier, probably more than some of the other originals. But I think we just need to see that originals as a concept is really awesome. Like, it is just actually cool to actually be able to make something with a budget and do something really interesting. With that being said, I want to give props to Markiplier with being able to still make really interesting stuff, such as Wilford Mother-Loving Wolfstash, Who Killed Markiplier, and Damien. And there's plenty of other people on the platform that do the same thing. So I respect all of you for making really creative stuff and not having a budget that's insane. Keep doing it. If I see it and I watch it, I always feel this immense like joy that someone put so much work, and you can see that they worked and they wanted this thing to be awesome, and it's really cool to always see that. And my final note I just want to say is also, when you hate on YouTube originals just because you can, maybe you don't like what it is, you have to also see that there's a whole crew behind it. So let's say hypothetically you didn't like A Heist with Markiplier, or In Space with Markiplier, or MatPat's Game Lab, or any of them. Can You Survive the Movies, Minefield, right? There's a whole crew of people who worked hard on that. So I think it's important to acknowledge that. Like something or not, I think you need to respect the idea and the people who made it, and the people who had the idea and the vision, even if it doesn't suit what you like. But yeah, YouTube originals are cool. Anyways, thank you for watching. This is not sponsored, but watch In Space and Markiplier Part 1 and In Space and Markiplier Part 2 coming out May 2nd on Markiplier's YouTube channel. I'll put a link to both parts in the description because I talked about Markiplier a lot. And I'll actually put links to all of these shows in the description as well. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a good night or day or whatever time of the day it is for you. I don't know. Yeah.